wanted to take a moment and tell you a little story about how decades ago, Amy and I began using buyer agency agreements. And I was trained into the idea of making sure, I was fortunate enough that someone said to me, if you don't do a presentation, don't ask for the agreement because you're going to get a lot of resistance. And so I began with the buyer agency presentation and the advantages of professional representation. Those are two words you might want to work on incorporating into your vocabulary. Professional representation. So really, know your value. For 6 months, Amy and I went out as we experimented with this and decided that we were going to do this and ask for an agreement. If somebody didn't sign an agreement, we weren't going to work for them. And we came away from that experience with an astonishing realization. The first time we went out, we were scared to death. And we're like, wow, I don't know how this is going to go. And over the course of 6 months, we went out to somebody's house virtually every day and got a buyer's agreement. The agreement was Amy and I would meet with them in person. If we liked what we saw, then Amy would show the houses and write the contract. And throughout that 6-month period, we had 2 people who refused to sign the agreement. We got back in the car, Amy looked at me and said, had they signed the agreement, you would have been the one showing them the houses because they were very difficult and argumentative people. And we did not want to work for them at all. So, and I've asked that question many times in seminars, and people have told me over and over again that they meet very little, if any, resistance to this issue. So the first thing I would share with you, and this is about the presentation, know your value, know it inside out. You should know 5 or 10 things off the top of your head that you do for buyers, and you should know not only this is what I do for them, but this is the benefit. This is what they get out of that. Know your value, articulate the need. If you have a feature, let's say the MLS is a feature, what does the MLS do for you? It puts all of the houses right in front of you as a purchaser on your cell phone within minutes of it going on the market. There's a whole bunch of things that does for buyers. Know those benefits. Communicate with a great presentation. Use testimonials, use stories to make your point. Here's what sometimes people ask me, well, how do I know how good my presentation is? Get it to the point where you can't wait to tell somebody all about it. Be proud of what you do for people. And if you don't feel that way, or you're a little squishy or fuzzy on some of this stuff, just keep coming back. We'll keep feeding you until you get to the point where you're like, wow, I get it. There's a whole bunch of stuff you do for buyers that has tangible, real-world benefits to them. You should be proud of that story. Don't focus on a laundry list of performed tasks. Those are simply features. Talk about how they impact on their daily lives.